People have been sitting on the road for hours. Doris, you're soaking wet, you're sitting on your cooler, you're a diabetic, you've saved your cat.
Yeah.
Now it's getting dark soon, Doris. What's going to happen to you when night comes here?
I don't know. I'm very frightened and very scared and worried. I don't know what we're going to do out here. It's going to get dark very soon, and I just don't know. They're not letting us know anything.
Shepard, people just uncertain. Stanley here pulled his 93-year-old mother-in-law out. They traveled by helicopter, off roof, by boat, by bus. They're still here by the side of the road. Stanley, you're sitting by the side of the road. Your thoughts?
It's just hard for me to believe that this is America. We survived for 4 days, and the city of New Orleans cut all utilities. They cut cell phone use, they cut gas, water, electricity. There was no presence of any kind from city government, not one New Orleans police officer, nobody from FEMA, nobody from City Hall.
All right, so people here feeling scared about what this night's going to bring and feeling neglected by their government officials. Shepard, back to you.
Steve Harrigan live in the town of Metairie. Steve, thanks. Well, New Orleans and surrounding regions from Jefferson Parish to Orleans Parish, Plaquemines Parish, and St. Bernard's and across the coast shattered. We're back to wrap up another extraordinary day of growing misery across the Gulf Coast.
For help to be turned away.
I believe it's good to question.
He ordered them to turn around and head back up another street. He said the situation is just extremely dangerous on the ground right now. And it follows what we've been seeing all day. You not only have the violence, but just this incredible misery. We were at the New Orleans Convention Center today and saw mothers with their babies literally living in raw sewage and putrid food. Just an incredible, horrible scene down there. Thousands and thousands of families have been going for days now without food, without water. They have no communication with the outside world. And to make matters worse, they're scared. One police officer said at some point this afternoon, someone drove by and actually shot at some of these people who are just waiting there to be rescued. They're sitting there, families, mothers with their children, literally with no food or water, waiting to be rescued, and a police officer says someone shot at them. While we were on the ground there, we saw horrible conditions. We saw an elderly woman who had died in a wheelchair. There was no one to come get her. There's no ambulance. There's no pickup. She was just sitting on the side of the road next to the convention center with a blanket over her. Right next to her on the ground was another body wrapped in a white sheet. So people are literally dying at the convention center, and we expect if conditions don't change there very soon, that body count will continue to rise.
And of course, the governor of the state has already predicted that she believes the death toll will go into the thousands when they can actually assess all this. But Chris, have you seen any signs of federal help there yet? Please bear with us. I'm going to try one more time. As you probably know from watching us over the last couple of days, the communication system is severely hampered. At times, people can't use their cell phones at all, and it's very tricky just getting any kind of signal up out of New Orleans. Let me see if I can get Chris Lawrence back. Chris, are you with me? Okay. Okay, very quickly, I want to bring you up to date on what we know at this hour. The head of the National Guard, in charge of the operations there, tells us that as many as 3,500 soldiers will be going into Louisiana tomorrow, 2,500 into Mississippi. There are so many things that officials are worried about. First of all, the health conditions. Because there is no potable water, because there is no food, they're worried about, obviously, severe severe dehydration. They're worried about so many of the things Chris Lawrence just talked about. Literally, people walking around in feces, dead bodies being all but ignored, not being removed at all from outside the convention center. Unfortunately, a lot of the streets are still blocked, a lot of removed at all from outside the convention center. Chris Lawrence just reporting that they could actually see a shopping mall burning down. Fire hydrants aren't working. We know that the local hospitals are having severe problems. No sanitation at all at this hour at Charity Hospital, where nurses are literally pumping bags because of failed generators, and they just don't know how they're going to make it through the night. In fact, on the phone right now, I have someone joining us from Charity Hospital. They have had enough power for a few intensive care wards. Joining me on the phone is Dr. Ruth Berggren. Doctor, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
How severe are things right now?
Well, we've just had a major setback, Paula. We waited all day for the sniper situation to get stabilized so that we could recommence evacuating our patients. About an hour or so ago, we got the signal to bring down patients who could walk. I came down with my patients all the way from the 9th floor, including people with spinal fractures and people who were in federal custody, and we actually loaded them onto boats, and we just saw a boat come back with some of our patients, and we're being told that all the patients that were just evacuated in the second wave are coming back to the hospital because the place of higher ground to which the patients were taken did not have the expected transport for patients to the next phase of the evacuation.
So, Dr. Berggren, what is going to happen to these patients? Are some of them going to die?
Some of them have died. I honestly, as I ran back up the stairs from that scene to come and take this phone call, they were bringing a dead body down from the 3rd floor. One of my patients, whom we worked very, very hard to get on the critical list and to move out as fast as we could, we've been by his bed all day, was sitting on that boat that came back and leaning over the edge and vomiting, and my heart just breaks for him because I think he just feels terrible.
What are you going to do to get through the night?
We're going to stay focused on what we need to do. We're going to continue to take care of patients. We're going to try to make them comfortable. We're going to try to keep them safe. And we'll just stay on task, and that's how we're going to get through.
Well, keeping them safe is a huge issue tonight, Dr. Berggren. You mentioned the sniper fire earlier today. Snipers attacked twice when your hospital tried to evacuate patients. Can you describe to us what you heard or what other witnesses saw?
Sure. Around 11:20 or so this morning, we were being assisted in our evacuation by the National Guard, who was available here for